Yezdi is back, and they are back with not one, not two, but three new motorcycles. So 4 years after Classic Legend got us the iconic Jawa back, they have now got us the Yezdi brand. Yes, the Yezdi Road King isn't here, which is a bit of a bummer, but there are three new motorcycles. First up is the Yezdi Roadster, then you have the Yezdi Scrambler, and then the Yezdi Himalayan. Oh, sorry, I meant the Yezdi Adventure. So as you can see, both these motorcycles are a bit adventurous. So in terms how they are common to the Jawa, they are completely different because they have a different frame, different suspension hardware, and different engine as well. Now, as for the Roadster, it is more of a connection between Jawa and Yezdi. It's kind of paying a homage to the transition that happened from the Jawa to the Yezdi brand. So it has a lot of things common to the Jawa. Anyways, we'll get into that details later. So these are the three new motorcycles from Yezdi, and let's find out what makes them interesting. So among the three new Yezdis, my favorite is the Scrambler. It looks unique, it has the hardware of the Scrambler, and the great thing is, it doesn't have any competition. So what's unique about the Scrambler? Let's find out. Let us start with the styling, and we must say that they have got the styling on point. Yes, the Yezdi Scrambler does look similar to the Triumph Street Scrambler, but it isn't a bad thing. You get classic Scrambler design elements like a round headlight, high-mounted mudguard, large tank, ribbed flat seat, and spoke wheels. The tail section is pretty minimal, and the swept exhausts look cool. The overall styling is very rugged and functional. Now let us talk about the riding posture of the Scrambler. As you can see, the handlebar is wide. It is quite high set also. So once you sit on the motorcycle, you have a very commanding view of the road. It feels nice. The fuel tank is narrow. It fits between your legs properly. And talking about the seat height, it is 800 mm, so even shorter riders won't feel much of a problem. As you can see, the pillion seat is a bit small. How's the pillion performance? We'll find out in our road test review. All the Yezdi bikes are powered by a 334cc motor, and the engine case is styled similarly to the Yezdis from the past, and the boxy design is cool. The other main change is that the piston of the Yezdi engine is different to that of the Jawa. One unique bit about the old Yezdi was the integrated gearshift lever and the kickstarter, and the modern Yezdi misses out on a kickstarter. Classic Legends claim that all three Yezdi engines have been tuned differently to better suit the individual nature of each bike, and here are the key specs of the Yezdi Scrambler. Now enough of the numbers, let's hear how does the new Yezdi sound. Well, the exhaust note is throaty and loud. It is similar to the Jawa, but it is distinct to a certain extent, and I'm pretty sure a lot of Yezdi owners would like it. The Scrambler features a single-pod LCD instrument console, all-new switch gear, and you also get switch cubes similar to the ones on the KTM 390 Duke. The switch cubes are used to control the three ABS settings. Off-road mode disengages the rear ABS system, rain mode is set for braking on wet surfaces, and the road is the standard dual-channel ABS setting. Another interesting addition is the handlebar-mounted USB and Type-C charger. The Scrambler also gets LED lighting all around, including the turn indicators. Overall quality of the Yezdi is better than the Jawa, but the finish on the exhaust could have been better. Yezdi have designed a new frame for the Scrambler and the Adventure. Since it is an off-road spec bike, the Scrambler gets long travel suspension, high ground clearance, and semi-off-road tires. It is also the lightest bike in the Yezdi range. You can check out its key specs on your screen right now. Now next up is the Yezdi Adventure. Now this is the most adventurous motorcycle from the stables of Classic Legends. Yes, it does look similar to the Himalayan, and the similarities is quite visible, but there are elements which makes it quite different. So what are they? Let's check them out. As I mentioned before, the Adventure looks like a copy of the Himalayan. According to Classic Legends, they wanted to style the Yezdi ADV on the lines of a classic adventure bike, and hence this styling. but we feel they could have been a bit more original in their approach. Having said that, the fuel tank is very similar to the one found on the Road King, and the tail section is unique with circular tail light and a split grab rail. The bike on display was loaded with optional accessories such as a jerry can, panniers, top case and auxiliary lights. Now talking about the riding posture of the Adventure, the first difference when you compare to the Himalayan is the handlebar. Now this handlebar is pretty wide, unlike the Himalayan which is very narrow. So once you sit on the motorcycle, you do get a very imposing stance and you feel nice. Instrument console is nice and wide. One more big thing is the tank. It is big, it is chunky. In terms of standing, again, very neutral in terms of standing. You don't have to bend too much. It feels nice and natural. I am 5'10". The fuel tank is a bit difficult to hug, but the center panel, again, it is quite narrow. So in terms of the riding posture, it should be good for off-roading as well as touring. The Adventure has the highest power and torque output in the Yezdi range, and for good reasons, as it is also the heaviest bike. Just like the Scrambler, Yezdi claims that the engine has been tuned to suit the character of the ADV bike and also for making it a good highway tourer. Here are its key specs. Even though it has a single port exhaust system, unlike the twin port exhaust system on its siblings, the exhaust note is throaty and loud, which is a good thing. Just like the Scrambler, the ADV also gets all LED lighting. The instrument console is different though, as you get a circular instrument console and another pod that is similar to the tripper system as seen on Royal Enfield for turn-by-turn navigation. One interesting bit about the Yezdi Adventure is that when you stand on the motorcycle, you can tilt the instrument console by 15 degrees, which means you get a better view of the instrument console when you're standing, and I think this is very intelligent. The Adventure is the only Yezdi bike to feature Bluetooth connectivity with call and message alerts. It also gets the handlebar mounted USB and Type-C charger, switchgear cubes and ABS modes as seen on the Scrambler. Being a proper off-road bike, the Adventure gets large wheels, spoke rims, long travel suspension and an impressive 220 mm of ground clearance. It also features proper off-road tyres, and the 15.5-litre fuel tank means fewer fuel stops while touring. It's also the only Yezdi bike to sport a monoshock suspension. While the Yezdi Adventure and the Yezdi Scrambler are quite unique, that's not the case with the Yezdi Roadster. It has quite a bit of similarities between this and the Jawa, for example the wheels, the frame and the engine. However, there are some interesting elements on this new motorcycle. So what are they? Let's find out. The most distinctive feature between the Roadster and the Jawas is the styling. Although Yezdi calls it a Roadster, the swept back handlebar and the large fuel tank means it looks more like a cruiser to a certain extent. The rider gets a contoured seat and the tail section too is very different from the Jawa. And here's how the riding posture is. In terms of features, the circular instrument console and the switchgear is similar to the Scrambler, but it misses out on the USB charger and LED indicators. The keyhole is positioned next to the radiator as seen on the Jawas, and the engine case design is similar and not boxy like its siblings. Although the motor does look similar to that of the Perak, Classic Legends claims that the engine tuning is different, and here are its key specs. The Yezdi Roadster is an urban bike and features road spec tyres and is also the only Yezdi offering to get alloy wheels. You can check out its underpinning specs on your screen right now. Classic Legends claim that the Roadster pays homage to the transition from Jawa to Yezdi and is a crossover that will appeal to fans of both the brands. We feel the Roadster has more of an identity crisis and is a misfit. And now time for the most interesting number, and that's the pricing. And you can check out the pricing of all these three Yezdis on your screen right now. So what is our first impression of the new Yezdi? Well, we do like them. But there is one small problem, and that is the bike that is missing, and that's the Yezdi Road King. And we feel that Classic Legend should have got that iconic motorcycle back. Do you guys think the same? Let us know in the comments. Now, among the three motorcycles, my favorite is the Scrambler. It looks fun, it is unique, and it is going to kickstart a new segment. And now coming to the Yezdi Adventure, well, on paper, it has all the credentials to take on the Himalayan, but how's the real performance is something we'll find out when we get to ride it, hopefully by end of this month. The third bike, the Yezdi Roadster. Now, this motorcycle is something which is a bit confusing to me. I personally feel that the Yezdi Roadster should have been a Jawa Roadster, as it suits that character better. Whether you guys agree or not, do let us know in the comments. So now you guys, please stay home, stay safe. The third wave is here, so please take care of yourself. And as always, thank you for watching.